A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... he landed in the divine dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation.
It's all winding down, 2 races to go, and we didn't meet the quota last week at Talladega, so what better way for chaos and carnage to be introduced to the Venom Truck Series than by 145 laps here tonight at the Monster Mile. Yes, it is the Detect, Treat, Defeat Breast Cancer 145. Only 2 races to go in the first ever Venom Truck Series chase, and we are in for a good one here tonight. Hello, folks. It's Tommy Cook hanging out with you. It's Matt Williamson alongside Matt. Oh, boy. Dover is looking extra greasy here today, and that is going to make things interesting for these drivers.
Yeah, it's always greasy, it's always difficult, but the drivers always put on a show. This is a track that some drivers absolutely love, others despise, but it is going to set us up to the championship run next week. No doubt about it, and the truck is pretty darn loose here, but some drivers are actually going to love that, I think.
I also think that some drivers are going to love that. We will see, though. Some drivers are loving where they are at in the chase standings right now with 2 races to go. Others have some work to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 drivers that are all pretty close. I mean, the top 5 are all somewhat close here. John Kay sits atop the point standings here after 3 races of the 5 in the chase. Tonight is going to be the 4th. Hunter Engrav only 5 points behind. Engrav, of course, able to tame Talladega better maybe than he thought himself. Only 5 points behind John Kay. Matt Schlosser only 11 points behind your leader. Jan Van Leer will sit 22 points back. Andy Poliski 30 points back. Brantley Gainey and Hayden Palumbo are tied for 6th. And Luke Peterson, Josh Freed, and Paul Ellison are your 10 chase drivers. I mean, really, we're looking at the top 3 right now, but I think the top 6 all kind of have a chance, and I guess it's really the top 7. I mean, if Palumbo, Gainey, Poliski, and Jan Van Leer can do well tonight, and some things happen to those other drivers in the top 3, they're going to put themselves right there in a position to race for the championship next week.
I do believe the magic number is going to be 58. If you want to be mathematically eligible for the championship next week, that is how far behind whoever the leader is coming out of tonight you need to be. Realistically, though, you need to be within, I would say, probably 15 points. Give or take a few. But some drivers towards the bottom of that list are going to be looking for good nights here tonight. Hard to believe, Dover is the 3rd most racetrack in the Venom Truck Series behind Daytona and Talladega. This is the 7th appearance, or scratch that, the 6th appearance on a Venom Truck Series schedule tonight for Dover International Speedway. It's had an interesting history. Not a ton of cautions, but that could all change here tonight. Only repeat winner's been Nathan Reynolds. He is not here tonight. Ryan Dye is not in action either. So that gives the mantle alone to Andy Poliski, as Jeff Langston was the other driver who's gone to victory lane here. So Poliski will be looking for a second and a well-timed victory at that. We'll point out plenty of things as this race rolls along, but I think the main thing that's going to become very apparent with this low downforce package, these trucks are loose. This track is not exceedingly hot, but it's already low grip with the high banks and the concrete. Less downforce on these trucks. These drivers, especially early in the runs, are going to have a handful, and things can stack up here very, very quickly. Time is winding down here in the warm-up. We're about ready to set you with the starting grid for the Detect, Treat, and Defeat Breast Cancer 145. It's the penultimate round of the championship for the 8th season of the Venom Truck Series. And with his 9th pole of the season, it is Hunter Engrav who will lead the field to green with a 22.638, a stout time for driver 28. The man he's chasing in the point standings will start to his outside. That is John Kay, looking for his first Dover win. He will look to mitigate the damage done here in the opening run. Matt Schlosser, 3rd in the points, 3rd on the starting grid. Brody Gunter's finished 2nd here twice to Nathan Reynolds. He will start in 4th tonight. Andy Poliski won here back at Season 4. He starts in 5th next to Josh Freed, who needs a Hail Mary here tonight to get himself back into contention. Tyler Logan back in the lineup after missing Talladega last week, starting in 7th. Hayden Palumbo will start to his outside, needing a good night, tied for 6th in the standings. Last week's big first-time winner, rookie Joshua Matichek, is going to start in 9th, and Jan Van Leer needs to get himself further up in the finishing order here than where he's starting, rounding out your top 10. Brantley Gainey, Luke Peterson, 2 chasers there on row 6. Paul Ellison starting at 13th. Austin Holyfield, Steve Roman, Kyle Zittel, Jordan Jorneau, Zach Lockett, Gary Clark, Josh Jackson, your top 20 starters. We've got 26 here tonight. The rest of the starting grid will roll as the trucks roll off of pit road. Matt Williamson, what are the weather conditions and what are we watching here tonight at Dover?
Taking a look at the weather, pretty nice here for a Dover race. 85 degrees is the track temperature, 72 degrees is the ambient temperature, and only 4 miles an hour is your wind conditions here for us today. 145 miles, which means 145 laps around the Monster Mile here at Dover. Our pit window is about 90 laps. I mean, if this thing goes green, we're basically looking to split this thing in half. The drivers will get 3 extra sets of tires. And no fast repairs as always, and this one can come up and bite you quickly, so hopefully you're not going to have to fix any damage along the way.
Here's one we normally don't point out pre-race. 35 miles an hour, the pit road speed limit. If we have green flag pit stops, Watch for speeding penalties. They'll be everywhere. And so will the carnage here early in the going, no doubt. Hunter Engrav in control of the field. He leads the field to the line. We're racing at Dover. Clean start for your top two. They're side by side for third. Schlosser underneath of Gunter.
Whoa! Schlosser really loose down the racetrack early on here. Freed might take a look on the inside.
We'll make it back to the stripe to put one in the books. Oh, Andy Police way up the track. A little bit of contact there with Matacek. Poliski's won here before at Dover, but he says he hates this track and cannot figure it out. It looks that way early.
Yeah, top 6 or 7 are all single file. They're stacked up behind Poliski. Tyler Logan and Peterson get underneath, and Matacek is stuck behind the 32. He looks pretty sporty, but cannot go anywhere.
Lots of support for Austin Holyfield right now. He's running in the 14th position in this gaggle behind Poliski and Logan and Peterson. As Engram continues to pace the field, purple lap for the 28 up front.
Matacek ripping the high side, and the 60. Poliski at the racetrack puts him in the wall. They're 3 wide.
Poliski thinking that he had Gainey underneath. Didn't give a whole lot of room there to Matacek. Passing on the outside here is tough sledding, that's for sure, especially in a truck that handles like this.
Poliski looked really loose. I thought he was headed to the inside wall there. Matacek finally clear, goes down to the bottom, but he has burned a lot more rubber than he would have liked early on here.
Luckily, tire rubs are not a thing on the sim. Otherwise, I think both of these drivers would be headed down pit road. And it could be an interesting addition one day. So Poliski on the slide here as it's the 10 of Austin Holyfield who will slip around the outside of the 32 and move himself up into 12th.
And while all of that is happening, John Kay is right to the back bumper of the 28 here. Hasn't really had an opportunity to try and make a pass, but has been all over applying the pressure to Hunter Engrav.
He'll look for it here down the front stretch. A peek to the inside into turn number 1. Oh, caution is out. They're wrecking. It's Andy Poliski. 32 is involved. Pascal Samard also involved. I think Paul Ellison got a piece of it. Josh Jackson looks to have gotten a piece of it as well. He has required repairs to make. And Andy Poliski's race and his championship hopes might be over here on lap number 8 of the penultimate round.
Couldn't tell if Samard even really made contact with anybody. He may have just spun it out trying to hit the brakes hard with trucks across the racetrack.
Well, this was the one that Poliski was worried about, and his suspicions have proved to be correct very early in this one.
Well, he's been struggling since the drop of the green, basically. He's here on the bottom. Oh, and he works his way up the track a little bit, but really not a lot. And the 55 of Ellison is going to make some contact with the right rear of the 32. Yeah, he does drift up the racetrack a bit. Technically, that is net code, but I think that contact was probably going to happen regardless. And then as Poliski washes up the racetrack, makes some contact there with Journeau, Gary Clark is going to pile into the 32. Oh, and actually Cole Maxwell got into the back of Samard as they were coming on to the scene. So some rear end damage there for the 76, some front end damage for the 69. And Samard is going to take some front end damage to boot.
So not a whole lot most people in that accident could do. I'm in the camp with you that was netcode, but it probably was going to happen anyway. Regardless, Paul Ellison's going to give himself an EOL penalty for causing the accident. That's tough. That is tough.
Yeah, I mean, for Poliski, I mean, it's been a quiet season for him, even though he's had lots of really great results. It just hasn't been that always front-runner season that we're just used to seeing him have for a couple seasons in a row.
Yeah, this will be his first winless season with the Venom Truck Series since we've picked up coverage back in Season 5, which, of course, was the season that Andy Poliski won the championship. Of course, assuming that he doesn't win next week at Kentucky, it probably will not net him a championship, but who knows how things are going to shake out, even in the rest of this race, let alone next week under the lights at Kentucky Speedway. Hello to everybody hanging out with us. Hello to Ty Coleman, Jacob Craven, and as well as James Coleman cheering on. Austin Holyfield, who's picked up some spots here early. Hello to the usual crew as well. Pamela Ingrav, Lindsay G, and Rob Williams as well. Colin Hinkle also hanging out with us here tonight. Thank you. Appreciate everybody. Thanks for all the help getting over 700 subscribers.
I don't think Colin...
Go ahead.
Sorry, I don't think Colin's wrong about his bet on John Kay. I think the 2 is a pretty good bet here around Dover.
Well, he didn't get a great restart there, but I'm with you. Green flag is back out. Kay is back to third. Now it's Gunter, who's been the bridesmaid here twice before. Up to second. Single filed quickly inside the top 10. Back to Luke Peterson at 8th. As Holyfield looking for another spot underneath of Matacek, and outside of Brantley Gainey. Tyler Logan will take a spot around Josh Matacek. Well, Josh Jackson's night is over. He picked up a meatball flag and never came down to get the damage fixed, so he's been disqualified. Do want to point out as well, I don't think it's going to come into play, but it could. Our short track rules are in place here tonight. A 20X drive-through and a 24X disqualification. Okay, is caught Brody Gunter once again, as Gunter is now half a second behind Hunter and Grav. We'll see if Kay can make the move here to get himself up to second. I don't think anybody is supremely confident about Dover tonight. I think for Kay, if he can keep himself at least behind Hunter and Grav, if not, finish ahead of him, he'll be looking pretty good at Kentucky next week, a track that he feels, I'm sure, a little bit more confident at. Though the Venom Truck Series has never been to Kentucky before.
Oh,
worth pointing out. Oh, go ahead.
John Kay tried to get underneath of Gunter there, it looked like, but had to think better of it. Now Schlosser is getting into the mix here. Can't really call this a short track, but Schlosser good at just about any track these days.
It's shorter. Shorter than Talladega. Ooh, Kay and Schlosser both just got a little cut of the wall there. To note, Andy Poliski is back out on the track. He is on the lead lap as well, so it was a quick meatball for the 32, but he is well off the pace. Oh, we got one around. It's Gary Clark. He is off the track, so we'll stay green. He is going to bring it straight down pit road.
Holyfield and Gainey battling for 11th here. Gainey was trying to get underneath of Holyfield. But as you start getting into this run, usually the middle to the top is a great, great defensive line. That's exactly what the 10 did there. And now Gainey's going to try and get on top of the 10 to get around.
Just behind them, Jordan Journeau got past Kyle Zittel for 13th.
Side by side between Jan Van Leer and Luke Peterson, up ahead of them as well. Peterson is trying to get through. Jan use that top side again for the defense.
Below to Lisa Kelly. Cheering on Tyler Bergert, podium finisher from last week, back in 18th as they run. Okay, still trying to find a way through here on Gunter for second. Gunter starting to drift up the track a little bit more.
Oh, Reed a little bit loose here on the bottom. Palumbo is all over the back of him. The two just about got together.
Andy Poliski brings the 32 truck back down pit road. Josh Freed has had a very quiet chase. Down in 9th in the standings, just looking for a top 10 run. Gunter fading from Engrav, 3/4 of a second behind. John Kay is still right here. Palumbo keeping it close to Josh Freed. Jan Van Leer and Luke Peterson are pedaling up here as well.
By the way, for those wondering, I mentioned a one-stop race earlier. I doubt it's going to be that. I'm guessing that the pit window is going to open about lap 45 here, most likely. So we have a little ways to go before we get there. But the fall off on the tires right now is already over a second.
And that's even with 3 caution laps in just 26 full laps around Dover. Fall off is crazy, that's for sure. We'll say the loose condition does go away the more laps you get. Until the end of the run anyway, and then it comes back in a big way. Oh, there's Palumbo underneath Freed as Freed gets a piece of the wall out of 4. So move the 54 up to the top 5. Second and a half lead now for Engrav up front. Gunter's still fending off John Kay. Here's Peterson underneath of Jan Van Leer. He'll slide up out of turn 2 and take spot number 7 away.
And Gainey finally gets the pass made on Austin Holyfield as well. So Gainey up to 11th.
Steve Roman, Jordan Journeau side by side just behind those two. And Andy Poliski has officially retired from the race. So it is going to be a last place finish for the 32 tonight.
Oh, Tyler Bergert up into the wall just a bit. Not going to be a race ender by any means, but the more and more you hit those wheels off the outside wall, the less the truck wants to, let's just say, cooperate with you in what your input is.
Very easy to get wheel damage and even a meatball here at Dover with a seemingly innocuous hit on some of these walls. So here's Logan underneath of Jan Van Leer now, trying to take 8th away. Jan's starting to slip backwards here.
Well, you mentioned the looseness of the truck, but after your tires really start to fade on you, you start to get a little bit tight and not as much grip trying to get drive off of the corners, and that wall sneaks up on you pretty quick.
As much as you kind of hate the loose, uncontrollable feeling that you have at the beginning of the runs, there is no worse feeling than being tight at Dover. It seems like this track is about 6 feet wide when that happens.
To be fair, as fast as they're running and the banking that they have, it really isn't that wide.
No. Check taking a peek on Jan. Nothing going. As now Steve Roman is on the way forward. He just got past Austin Holyfield. Go ahead.
Palumbo and Freed have caught up to Matt Schlosser. Schlosser has fallen off of John Kay by about a second here. Palumbo looks to continue to move forward. Pit stop's not too far away here, though. About 5 to 10 laps is maybe what we're thinking. It could go a little bit further if you wanted to. Maybe push it to lap 50. That would put you in a nice, comfortable position.
Monacek now fully underneath the 5 of Van Leer. JVL going to try and fight on the top side. As we just had a bit of a stack up further back in the field. Kyle Zittel is on the way backwards after maybe some contact with Jordan Journeau. Ellison underneath the 84 as we speak. But Jan going to fend off Josh Monacek.
Yeah, Monacek, especially later in the run here, just not able to carry as much speed through the middle of the corner, and Jan is able to carry a whole lot more on the top side and get the big run out of the exits.
Here is Palumbo. He just had a peek underneath the Matt Schlosser. Falls back in line. Josh Freed trying to take a peek, but the door is shut.
And you got to be careful trying to make moves when there's people behind you here. You can put yourself in a bad spot and lose multiple positions if you're not careful when you try and attack to make passes.
Lead is 2.5 seconds for Hunter Engrav over Brody Gunther. Another half second back to John Kay in third. And this is 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th all right here together.
Steve Vroman, Brantley Gainey side by side here. Monacek tried to get underneath of Jan Van Leer again, but couldn't quite get there.
Steve is on the march. He's not taking any prisoners on his way forward here. It's about the first hang-up he's had all race.
This race gives you a great opportunity if you're good at tire save strategy to save tires for the first 25, 30 laps of a run and then really come on strong later, as Monacek now underneath of Jan Van Leer once again.
Zittel and Journeau continuing to battle side by side. Good battles here, just inside and outside of the top 10.
Gainey a little bit too far up the racetrack that time. Steve Vroman will get underneath. Vroman to 11th. Oh, Freed's going to try and take a peek underneath the 54. Couldn't quite get close enough. Palumbo not afraid to play aggressive defense anywhere.
Oh, Tyler Berger just slammed the inside wall down the front straightaway and actually clipped the pit exit cone, so that's giving him a black flag. He's got a lot of damage anyway. I'm not sure it's going to matter.
Here's Monacek. Actually has a nose out in front of the 5 at the moment.
Gainey going to muscle his way underneath behind them. Maybe not.
Yeah, that's Gainey trying to take back the position. Oh, Monacek lost the front end there on the bottom. Had to slide up. Now Steve Vroman has a big run. Now Holyfield and Ellison doing battle.
All the battles converging.
I mean, this group right outside of the top 10 have been swapping positions just about as often as you're going to swap them here at Dover. You don't make that many passes during the middle of these runs. It's just so difficult.
Here's Tyler Logan. Makes quick work of Luke Peterson to move up to 7th.
That's about the easiest pass we've seen in the last 25 laps or so.
Logan back in the lineup tonight after missing Talladega last week. Finished in the top 5 here last season in his rookie go-around at Dover. Headed back that direction now. Things are tight between Freed and Palumbo as they're back side by side, challenging for 5th. Freed is going to get this pass done as the caution is out. Lots of shuffling.
And it's Jan Van Leer.
It's Jan Van Leer. All right, up in front of Austin Holyfield, who wedges underneath the 5 truck. And that is another chase contender with what could be a race-ending issue.
I mean,
Jan was in that spirited battle with, I'm pretty sure it was Josh Matichek.
Yeah,
Man, oh man.
I thought Matichek had gotten through, but maybe Jan was trying to take another peek. We'll look at it here in a moment. But, I mean, that's Jan and Andy both were the 2 drivers that really needed to have good races and have things happen to those in front of them. And unfortunately, they are the 2 that have had the misfortunes come to them here tonight at Dover. Pit stops underway, and this is right about when we were expecting to see green flag pit stops anyways. So this is going to keep the drivers right in line with the strategy.
Matt Schlosser picked up a penalty on entry, and I don't know what for, to be honest. Jordan Journeau and Zach Lockett did as well.
There's your races off pit road. We're going to go ahead and see if we can look at this incident here for Jan. Matichek. Oh, Matichek is underneath. We're going to back it up, look at it in a little bit of slow-mo here. Like Matichek may have slid up the racetrack a bit. And Jan's kind of coming down. Matichek's moving up. They're both trying to get their optimal entry into the corner, but also trying to squeeze each other a bit, I think, as well. They had been battling for quite a while, and both of them were wanting to settle it, put themselves back out in front of the other. But unfortunately, it ends in contact, and Holyfield, boy, he came in big time into the 5. Let's look at it through the lens of Matichek here. You can hear Jan on the outside. He sees Jan. And it doesn't look like he's moving the wheel up the racetrack at all. I mean, he's wiggling it back and forth because he is a little bit loose, I think. But I don't know. I can't really call this one, to be honest.
Matichek claimed responsibility for it. Jan just kind of said it was a racing thing, but he obviously didn't sound very happy about it. As you could imagine, that just essentially took him out of a shot at a championship next week. I think that's just one of those deals. The trucks do wash up the track here at Dover, and Joshua was underneath. We're later into the tire run. Things tighten up here at Dover very quickly, and that's exactly what just happened there. So I think you could call that right down the middle and say that was a racing deal, given the circumstances. So yeah, penalties, and not really sure why, under this caution for Jordan Journeau, Matt Schlosser, Zach Lockett, and Pascal Simard. They were not speeding. I went and independently verified all of them, so somewhere in there was a a phantom truck that got past on the entry to pit road. None of them got their penalties cleared. Schlosser now going to be well outside of the top 5 here for this restart, back in looks to be the 15th position. So now that means Hunter Engrav and Brody Gunter will be on the front row for the restart. Engrav going to take the outside here. It will be John Kay and Josh Freed now on row 2. Luke Peterson and Hayden Palumbo on the 3rd row. Rest of the top 10 is Logan Vroman, Gainey, and Ellison. Remember, lap 73. Bonus points being paid out to the top 10 drivers. Schlosser will want a cut of that. Kay will want to mitigate the damage here and get himself up to 2nd, if not up to the lead. Big jump here by Engrav, coming to the restart on lap 51. Freed up to 3rd. Kay looking to retake that position. Restart by restart. He's starting to go backwards.
Drivers got to be careful on fresh tires here as well. They're awfully loose with fresh rubber. Kay's going to look underneath.
Pounds. He'll take it.
I think Freed
Good work
knew
by
he,
John Kay.
Yeah, I think Freed kind of knew he had him beat, and this is not the point in the run. Oh, caution is out.
Austin Holyfield around in turn number 2, or slow rather.
He definitely made contact somewhere. The front of that truck is absolutely bashed in. And the rear has had some damage as well.
He was the one that wedged underneath of Jan Van Leer, so I mean, that's definitely explains the front end damage, but not sure how this one got started.
And taking a look, looks like it might be a solo truck accident, and indeed it is. Yeah. Oh, wow, I don't know how Holyfield kept it out of Journeau there. Journeau tried to take the long way around the 10 as he was spinning out, and it was a bold choice. But it did end up paying off only by maybe a centimeter. Man, what's crazy is from this camera angle, you can actually see the arms of the driver in game just working that wheel back and forth as he gets loose into the corner. It's pretty cool to watch. Take another look.
The pink fire suit definitely helped there.
Yeah, he's got those white gloves on too. You can see him right through the window net.
I appreciate all the drivers that have pinked out for the evening. Not as many as we usually get, but still, got some pink trim on a couple of drivers. Got some pink rims on a couple of the trucks as well. It's the Detect, Treat, and Defeat Breast Cancer 145 here tonight. And hello to Hunter in the chat. What up, what up?
Happy 85 day to you, sir.
Oh, boy. Not this again.
I mean, I'm not going to give it up.
Is this the new Rusev Day? Is every day going to be 85 day until you get back on the course again?
Yes, every day is 85 day until I play again. And I told you I was retiring until 2025, so you're going to have to hear it for quite a while.
Oh, boy. I can't wait. Well, now what?
I mean, if you're John Kay, you got to get a better start. That's first and foremost here. He's seen Engrav launch really early off the top side now. So you're going to have to try and time it up. I think if John can get in front of Brody, he has a decent chance to hang with Engrav and I don't know, maybe make a pass later on in the run. I don't think he's going to try and push it too terribly much here early, but we're getting towards the halfway point in the race. Time is starting to tick down a little bit.
See if Hunter takes the outside again. It's going to be difficult for John to get in front of Brody, at least immediately. Yeah, and he'll start on the inside. I'm surprised John had so much difficulty on that outside earlier. He's really just not restarted well on either line thus far. But if there ever was a time for a good restart, I'd say it'd be right about now. Not a whole lot changed in the top 10. Matt Schlosser did gain 4 spots on that restart. He's back in 11th on the inside row number 6. So he made quick work. It'll be Engrav and Gunter, Kay and Freed, Peterson and Palumbo, Logan and Gainey, Vroman and Zittel, the top 10 starters. Coming to lap 57. Not a good jump once again for Kay. Already back to 4th. Engrav with a good launch up front.
And Gunter had a much better start there, but Kay again did not.
Kay's up the track. It might open the door for Peterson to take a look, although they are teammates. Freed with a great jump back up to 3rd.
Zittel and Gainey side by side here. Lots of battling further back. Schlosser nearly got into Vroman.
Wow. It doesn't get much closer than that.
Schlosser trying to march early.
Yeah, wants these halfway bonus points. He's in the money right now, but would love a few more. Whoa! Yikes.
Oh, Schlosser up the racetrack again.
He is driving with abandon. There is no doubt about it.
Now further
Battling
up.
for 5th.
Yeah, Palumbo gets underneath of Peterson, and Palumbo is going to keep moving forward here. He's been pretty fast, has gotten stuck behind a little bit of traffic, but finds himself in good company now.
Schlosser made that pass around the outside of Kyle Zittel. Now was going for it underneath of Brantley Gainey, who got a piece of the wall out of 2. So moves Schlosser now up to 8th. Kay catching Freed, who is sticking right with Brody Gunter for the time being. Freed down the track. A little list block down to the bottom. Kay going for it this time. He's got a little peek to the inside.
And the earlier you can try and make this pass on the bottom, the better. I think it's easier to pass on the bottom early, a little bit more difficult in the middle of the run. When it gets towards the later parts, you can kind of do it again. But it takes a while to get there.
John has only made 1 pass here tonight. It was on Josh Freed. Freed took it right back on the last restart.
It's about time for a car inside camera here tonight. And John Kay always rocking one for us here. We're going to watch him try and get back up to Freed and maybe mount a charge for another attempt at a pass here. Him kind of running middle, trying to run a little bit of a different line than Freed up in front. Get good drive off. This time he's going to bury it right into the Jordan logo. And he's going to look underneath. Whoa, pretty big send. Starting to wash up the racetrack a little bit.
Going for it. This is his best look so far. If he could just hold the bottom, Freed is going to keep him pinched down there as much as possible. Freed with momentum up top. Clear momentarily. K not done. Big drive out of 4.
Oh, wow. Freed nearly came off the wall into the 2.
A nose out in front for John K. He's persistent.
Oh, Freed off the wall.
And that'll do it.
Pretty big sigh from K there after he realized he was going to be safe. And then some words to his teammates. I'm not sure they were so nice.
Well, he was apologizing to Josh Freed actually over the race comms. But again, I think that's just over.
It really is. I mean, there's the battles are just so tightly contested, and the racetrack is so narrow. There's really one fast way around, and 2 people want to take up the real estate.
Matt Schlosser wants back into the top 5. He's caught Peterson and Palumbo. First up will be the 38. These 2 teammates are trying to salvage their seasons and give themselves long shot odds at the championship next week, but they need to move forward a little bit more than what they've done already. Schlosser as well wants to mitigate the damage here after the pit road penalty. Halfway mark coming up here in just a couple laps. 1 second lead for Engrav over Gunter. Gunter now with half a second back to John K.
KZ 5-3 starting to slip back a little bit. Ellison is through underneath. Roman is here as well, and Roman's also bringing the cavalry with him.
First time we've mentioned Garrett Rainey tonight. He's up here. Zach Lockett right behind as well as Froman takes a look down low, but the door is shut.
Lucky Roberts in the chat. I don't think it's that weird. It's just multiplied by 2. It's just big Bristol.
Very big. Engrav will take 10 bonus points for the road. John K. taking 8. And as they run right now, I believe John K. has the points lead by 1 marker. So he cannot afford to lose another spot here to Josh Freed. Although Hunter Engrav would take bonus points for the pole, leading a lap, and the most laps led. So I think K would actually be down by a couple of points as they run right now, assuming that Engrav will lead the most laps tonight, because it's looking very likely. In fact, he's led every lap thus far, so he has led the most laps tonight. Well, just as quickly as Matt Schlosser was on the march forward, all of a sudden, he is going the wrong direction. He's lost 2 spots this lap.
Paul Ellison is really on the move forward here. Schlosser, who's had some speed here tonight. Ellison just pulled her right up underneath and said, I will take that one, thank you.
I think Schlosser was pushing hard for some halfway points. He's either cooked his tires or he's cooking up a strategy to get himself a better result here. We'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, he might just be trying to save his tires for right around lap 85 or 90 to start pushing again. We're targeting lap 100, I would think, for the last round of green flag pit stops.
Josh Freed is all over John Kay once again for third. Two seconds for Hunter Engrav, who's yet to be contested tonight. Zach Lockett, Garrett Rainey, side by side for 13th. Josh Matichek is here as well. Hello to Jeremy McKinnon in the chat. And as Lockett will get through and Rainey will lose 2.
Matichek looking for another one here on the 93.
Oh, Matt Schlosser, more problems. He is down on the apron. He may be coming to pit road here. Oh, and he is...
Oh, boy.
Nope, he spun it out.
Yep.
I was going to say, he was going to be speeding. Oh, and he hit the invisible wall there. That is... Oh, boy. That's another championship contender with an absolutely disastrous string of events there.
Kind of crazy to me that he's trying to get in this early. I mean, he must have really done a number on his tires early. It did seem like he was pushing a lot harder than everybody else, but I mean, it didn't seem like he was pushing it that hard. I mean, he is well short of the number we are kind of going for here. Maybe he was just going to try and take a big swing.
Well, whatever strategy Schlosser was playing at, it has been thwarted, no doubt. Here's Freed underneath of John Kay. And all of a sudden, all the championship hopefuls other than Hunter Engrav are in trouble. Engrav leading in a dominant performance. John Kay is slowing. He might be coming to pit road, and he is. Kay down to 35. Did he make it? I think so. 35 miles an hour.
He's making this into a two-stopper, I guess. Did not see that one coming. And I say a two-stopper from really what was going to be the first stop of the race. I figured they'd do one more and be good.
Well,
I don't think he's going to want to push it 65 laps or so.
They can do it on fuel. It's a question of whether you want to do it on tires.
I mean, under green flag conditions at this point, has only run maybe 35 laps. So, I mean, I don't think you're going to want to ride another 70 out.
Nobody else has come to pit road yet, so it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. John Kay now is a lap down in 19th. And look how quickly he's going to reel in and pass Hunter Engrav. Talk about the difference of fresh tires and old tires.
I mean, Engrav's lap time is nearly 2 seconds slower than it is on fresh tires. There's no doubt about it. This may change Engrav's opinion on when he's going to come down pit road after seeing Kay fly by I assumed they were going to try and get to lap 100, but maybe he's going to try and get to lap 95 now. It may be a changing strategy.
Can't even imagine just feeling helpless. Whoa, and he just piled into Gary Clark. Clark washed straight up the track in front of John Kay. And that is a caution. What in the world? John Kay is now going to be out of this race with a meatball flag. Good Lord. My question is, does Hunter Engrav work for the mob? Because systematically, every single one of the potential contenders is going down one by one in this race.
I just heard somebody else crash, like they crashed into pit road or something.
I think it was Cole Maxwell. It was Cole Maxwell.
It
He went
was.
straight into the water barrels.
So this is going to bring everybody down pit road. And again, at this point, I would think they're just going to try and make it to the end. I mean, it's a little bit of a long ways. Longer than they've had to go so far tonight. But it's not a whole lot longer. They went about 47 laps on the first run. I take that back. There was a caution in the middle. So under green flag conditions, they went about 45. They're going to have to do a little over 50 here.
Yeah, there's no two ways around it. That was not good. So that is what takes John Kay out of the championship, potentially anyway. I don't know. It would be more fitting, I guess, at this point if something did happen to Hunter Engrav, because it's happened to everybody else up to this point.
Well, I can tell you who's not going to race it dirty, and that's Brody Gunter. Oh, Hunter's probably going to have to do it on his own here. And I just don't see that happening, especially at this point when he knows where his competitors are at. And that's in the garage.
Well, I'm not ruling anything out at this point. John Kay is back on the track, got the meatball flag cleared pretty quickly, all things considered. He is a lap down. Matt Schlosser also, with that early pit stop, is also pinned a lap down. I mean, this is... You couldn't draw it up any better for Hunter Engrav at this point. Less than 50 laps to go in this race. And we'll look to have a healthy lead heading into Kentucky next week. Front end damage like that for John Kay, he may be able to run around for a while, but I would imagine eventually that engine is going to blow. So he more than likely will not finish this race. Unless we have a lot of caution laps from here on out, which is also not impossible. Engrav and Gunter on the front row. Palumbo and Freed on row 2. It's now Peterson and Logan on the third row. Ellison and Vroman on row 4. Zittel and Gainey on the fifth row. "50 laps to go."
Car inside camera with Luke Peterson. He's slotted up into the 5th position.
Freed hanging on to third for now. No challenge from Gunter to his teammate Engrav. Lockett and Matacek side by side. That's for 11th.
Whoa! Ellison, pretty loose there, out of the corner, had to chase it down the racetrack. And now is going to have Kyle Zittel on his outside. And we're getting a great look at what it's like to be a driver. Oh, Zittel's now up the racetrack a bit, so Ellison is free and clear. Ellison can breathe a sigh of relief with the VR goggles on.
Roman and Zittel, Matacek and Gainey, both side-by-side battles right here together as Roman will move forward. Matacek now underneath of Zittel as Gainey got into the wall hard at a 2.
Matacek dives underneath of the 53.
And perhaps we will have a challenge for the lead here. All of a sudden, Gunter has come to life, and he's inside of a truck length of Hunter Engrav. Oh, Jan van Leer's into the wall right in front of the race leaders. That could have been disastrous. The exact thing we were just hypothesizing about almost came to be. Gunter into the wall. Here's Freed underneath looking for second. Oh, Freed is now loose.
Oh, my. And all of these drivers battling while Engrav has clean air. He's able to hold his wheel steady. And he may be backing off his pace a little bit because he knows he's going to have to go farther on these tires than he has all night.
Well, that has not slowed down anybody behind him, that's for sure. Their pace is frenetic. They are as close to the leader as they've been at this point in the run all night. Luke Peterson now going to tag along in line.
No side-by-side battles on the racetrack at the moment, but nearly all of the top 10 pretty close together here.
all right here behind Engrav. And to your points about him potentially backing down the pace himself, it feels like he's playing with his food a little bit. We'll see as this run goes along if these guys can capitalize. Haven't really seen what Engrav can do at the end of a run yet. But to your point also, he's got the clean air right now.
Bonacek eyeing a move on Steve Vroman. He will get underneath of the 00. He's going to stick it right to the bottom of the racetrack, nearly onto the apron, but Vroman has the speed off the top side, so nothing doing for the 60 this time.
Everybody's still right here together. Palumbo's searching around a bit, looking for a way through on Josh Freed. Is Monacek and Vroman now going side by side? Vroman off the top side, able to stay out ahead for now. Monacek not going away.
Speaking of Monacek, of course, got his first win a week ago, and I have been told that the Yamaha throwback paint is being retired. And one of the broadcasters' names, I think, is actually going to be on the side of the retired truck as well.
Wow.
So pretty special stuff there for Monacek. Grand gesture and much appreciated. It was a pleasure to watch and a pleasure to call.
Yes, indeed. He's been electric here in the chase. Too bad that he didn't qualify for the top 10. Even the couple races before the chase started, he really started to get it figured out. I'd imagine he'll be a force to be reckoned with next season at this rate.
Tyler Berger going another lap down, nearly came down into Palumbo. There's just tight quarters there. I mean, nothing crazy. Berger trying to stick it to the top while everybody else goes underneath. And that's one of those things that, as a driver up front, it can just kind of take you off your game a little bit, having to worry about somebody else. You've kind of been running your race for the better part of 20 laps here, getting in a groove, and all of a sudden you maybe have to give a little bit more room to the top side to make yourself feel comfortable, and it can throw you off. You got to be able to stay in that rhythm here. This is a rhythm racetrack, no doubt.
Bradley Gainey is fighting right now. Almost became a victim of a two-spot swing. Eric Breeding moved through to 12th. Gainey got into the wall. Zach Lockett got underneath, but Gainey is hanging ahead of the 93. Corey Rutherford wants to move forward here as well. So Engrav starting to turn on the jets here. He is 3/4 of a second ahead of Brody Gunter now. Laps winding down.
Tyler Logan and Luke Peterson going to be side by side, a battle for 5th. Go to the car and side cam for the 38 while this battle is happening. It looks like Logan is going to have it. Peterson looks pretty calm, cool, and collected behind the wheel. No erratic movements, just a lot of focus.
There's a chance with a solid run here tonight that he could be top 5 in the points after Kentucky next week. As whoa, Hayden Palumbo just had a big moment in turn number 1. Trying to make a pass on Josh Freed. Freed shut the door, and Palumbo walked it all the way up to the outside wall to try and hang on to it. Peterson going to lose another spot and nearly is going to send that truck around. He's got his hands full all of a sudden. Ellison takes 6.
Ellison had gotten through, and Peterson was tucked right in behind Ellison, and I'm wondering if the air from Ellison really upset the 38 there. Maybe something Peterson hasn't really felt much here tonight. Haven't talked about Corey Rutherford much here tonight. Rutherford's sitting in 12th right now. Has gained a lot of positions off of attrition, but has passed a few drivers as well.
He's coming off a runner-up finish in the ASRL Cup Series on Sunday. Also coming off of his first top 5 of the season last week with Venom at Talladega. So he could look to go back-to-back top 10s here. He's got a couple of more drivers to pick off. First one up will be Kyle Zittel in 11th.
And you can see Rutherford is running a very different line than everybody else. He is running way up high on the racetrack through the middle of the corner and diving down to the bottom to try and get that big run.
Speaking of diving, it's our nightmare. Garrett Rainey and Brantley Gainey side by side for 13th. Gainey going to hang on to that spot for now at least. Rainey not going away though.
I'll tell you what, Gainey has been a busy driver tonight. He has been in battles seemingly like all race. I mean, it just has not stopped for the 22.
Ooh, and Rainey had to roll out of it there. Otherwise, they were both going for a spin. Yeah, he's been a busy boy in the cockpit of the 22, that's for sure.
Here's the damage number 8 back on the racetrack. Some drivers trying to get around. And the damage number 2 going another lap down here as well.
Would not want to be a driver around those two right now. And John Kane going to let him go. Okay. Well, there's that.
Hay is right up on the wall, trying to make sure he stays out of the way. I mean, he's just... That truck is unbelievably damaged.
Rutherford, in the midst of all that, makes quick work of Kyle Zittel, moves himself up to 11th. Okay, only has a couple of spots he could lose at this point. But I guess in the grand scheme of things, every point might matter. We'll never know what kind of week Ingrave is going to have until he has it next week. He certainly, at this point, is in the driver's seat for the championship in his rookie season.
Haven't talked much about Eric Breeding here tonight. Breeding into the top 10 now. Has just been scratching and clawing his way up through the field.
And Deputy Sheriff Breeding will be the first to tell you that this has been a craptacular season, not really of his own doing. One top 10 all season. This would be the second. Here's Palumbo with a look on Freed for third. They are door-to-door, little net code contact.
Maybe a little bit more there on entry as well.
Reed has been good on defense tonight. Fighting for what will be a second career podium. But Palumbo may have him cleared, and he will.
Palumbo has just been so solid on the bottom there, especially this late in the run. Able to really stick it to the bottom. I mean, that is great work there from the 54.
Free tried to answer back there, slipped to the right rear a bit, and Palumbo is off to the races.
Corey Rutherford's still on the march. He is caught up to the 00. The number 8 in the midst of this as well. I think maybe on fresher tires. Wow, look at this run. Rutherford had a big one on the 00, but the 5 is going another lap down and may impede the top line here. Although Jan seems to be carrying a little bit more speed now. Maybe got some more damage fixed. Woo! Rutherford looked awfully loose trying to run it from the top to the bottom there. And Kyle Zittel on his way through now as well. He has found some speed late. Please. Only 8 laps to go. Engrav decisively out in front of Gunter once again. Just has to keep it clean and bring it home.
Truck into the wall. It's Corey Rutherford. Zittel is going to get back by. Hit it pretty hard there out of 2. Now Rutherford going to fight back here. Up top.
Whoa.
Keeps it out of the wall barely that time.
Look at the big run he's got. That lane was working for a while, but I'm afraid it might have lost its luster here late in the run.
These tires certainly have.
Gainey now side by side yet again. But might have a little bit quicker work. Maybe not, but Rutherford into the wall just a touch again, and the 22 will get through.
5 laps to go. 4.5 monster miles for Hunter Engrav. Kyle Zittel's asking for Steve Roman to slow down so he can read what's on his tailgate.
Like it hasn't been the same truck all these years.
Oh, maybe he's never taken the time to read it. Good a time as any. 2 to go. Well, John Kay could decide to do something really, really interesting here. He is the only thing standing in between Engrav and a victory. But, you know, if you do that, then you're still not going to be in it for the championship. This one's going the distance in regulation. 1 lap to go for Hunter Engrav. Looking to lead them all. In a night where all of the championship contenders have fallen one by one, one stands tall and above the rest of the field, head and shoulders. It's Hunter Engrav with the victory here tonight at Dover. Engrav decisively the points leader heading into the finale next week. Brody Gunter a bridesmaid for the 3rd time here at Dover. Hayden Palumbo is back on the podium for the 3rd time this season. That's 9 poles and 9 wins.
It's a hell of a rookie season, I'll give him that.
There's a good chance it gets a lot sweeter next week.
There it goes.
So Engrav will park it at the line. Problems early for Andy Poliski. That was followed up by a penalty for Matt Schlosser. Then a crash for Jan Van Leer. And a crash for John Kay. 4 of the top 5 in the standings. Major issues. Multiple laps down or out of the race. And Hunter Engrav will take the victory here tonight. Rest of the finishing order is Gunter in 2nd, Palumbo in 3rd. We'll talk to these 3 gentlemen here momentarily. 4th for Josh Freed. Tyler Logan will take home a 5th place finish here tonight in the 98 truck. That is the 3rd top 5 of the season for him. Paul Ellison will finish in 6th. Luke Peterson in 7th. It's Joshua Matacek in 8th. Eric Breeding is going to be the hard charger here tonight. 2nd top 10 of the season for the 26th. Great job for him in 9th. Steve Roman rounds out the top 10. Kyle Zittel, Brantley Gainey, Corey Rutherford, Garrett Rainey, and Jordan Journeau, the top 15. Good run for Journeau here tonight. That is his, I think, 2nd best finish of the season for him. Pascal Simard and Zach Lockett, the 17 drivers on the lead lap. Matt Schlosser will finish 1 down in 18th. 2 down in 19th. John Kay will finish this race, so he proved me wrong there. Jan Van Leer was running at the end of the race down in 20th, 12 laps down. Austin Holyfield was running as well, 21st. Gary Clark was running in 22nd, Tyler Bergert in 23rd. The DNFs for Cole Maxwell, Andy Poliski, and Josh Jackson, 24th, 25th, and 26th. A disastrous night for most of the chase drivers, but not for this gentleman. In fact, a great run, I would say, for Hayden Palumbo, who will bring it home on the podium here tonight for the 3rd time this season. Congrats, and welcome back to the booth.
Yes. We're out again.
Yeah, that looked like a grueling one. At least there were some cautions in the middle there to catch a little bit of a breather. But I mean, you were hounding somebody throughout the entirety of that race, looking to make passes throughout multiple points. I mean, this looked like a tough one here tonight.
It was. I mean, it was one of those deals where like it's super hard to pass. So you literally can't go around the top. I mean, it's you can't carry enough speed up there, to stay close unless you pinch them off super hard, and then you run the risk of getting wrecked. But I mean, I feel like I had the pace, to run with Hunter, but track position's everything, so that's how that worked out for me.
Matt, what you got?
Congrats on a great run here. I mean, this is always a difficult one, but did you have a lot of confidence coming into tonight? You looked pretty quick there from the drop of the green flag, and just maybe had a little trouble getting through traffic early.
Honestly, I hate Dover. It's probably my least favorite racetrack that NASCAR runs. Especially to race on iRacing, it's grueling. To me, it's worse than Bristol. But I didn't lack confidence at all. I think I just kind of dreaded it more, and then I got out there and realized that I was actually pretty quick. So I was like, well, let's just pull it together and see what we can do here.
Well, I'd say you pulled it together for sure. Third podium of the season. Great run here tonight. Anybody you want to thank or shout out?
Thanks to all the folks watching, Mom, Dad, I know you are. All the Alabama gang, I think everybody, the incident with John, but I think Alabama gang and Superkick, we were all within the top 15, so it was a good run, for all of us. And it was a fun race, no doubt. So, but yeah, thanks for watching and thanks for doing this, y'all.
Well, great job here tonight. Congrats on the third podium. We'll hopefully talk to you again next week in Kentucky.
All right, we'll see you.
All right, we'll pull up a driver who has finished here second quite a few times now. It is Brody Gunter, bridesmaid here again at Dover, but still a solid run here tonight after starting fourth up to second. Congrats.
Yes, sir. I think this is my third second here.
Yep.
I think to a different person every single time too, I want to say. Maybe it was Nathan the first two times, but yeah, I feel like I had pretty decent pace. I feel like I adapted to the setup pretty good. I just had nothing for Hunter in any way, shape, or form. I mean, I was trying a couple different things, but I felt like it wasn't really helping me gain ground on him. So it was just kind of, I feel like shoot for second, and I was able to do so. But I mean, I'm gonna call this a personal win in my opinion, just because of how fast Hunter was. So it was, in my opinion, I won. Woohoo! I'll take it. But yeah, I guess we'll try and see next week if we can, I guess, find those 3 to 4 seconds I was missing.
Well, I mean, the stats guys will go crazy for somebody finishing second 3 times in a row at the same track. You've obviously got something figured out. Matt, what you got?
Oh, it's not just an iRacing.
Congrats on a good run here, Brody. I mean, behind you, it was really wild, but I mean, for you, after maybe the first couple of cautions, it seemed like it was fairly easy going out front. I mean, obviously, you're trying to put in the work, trying to catch Hunter, but I mean, from behind, you didn't have a whole lot of pressure. I mean, what was it like from your point of view?
I mean, I feel like John, Josh, and then Palumbo. I feel like I dealt with the trio of people that were like, I feel like the third, second, actually probably the real probably second fastest. Just I was holding them all up. I felt like, but yeah, I think it just I made my truck really wide, basically, where they couldn't get around me. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it was, like I said, a pretty good run still. I mean, when I finished second to Nathan, I was only 4/10 off his rear bumper the entire race, and that was probably my favorite race so far in Venom. So, I mean, seeing Hunter that far away definitely shows that I feel like Hunter is a way better driver than Nathan was. But I just tried to fight for as long as I could, as hard as I could, but while still saving the tires, and I feel like I did pretty good with that, doing both. Just need to find more somehow.
Well, we'll see if we can get you one better next week in Kentucky. But in the meantime, anybody you want to thank or shout out here?
CGI Graphics, Malt Music Productions, Tone 200, and everyone at Venom.
All righty, partner. Good job here tonight. So we'll hopefully talk to you again next week.
All right, thank you, guys.
Is Brody secretly trying to get Nathan to come back to Venom? Because if any comment's gonna do it, that's probably the one.
That was definitely a bait if I've ever heard it. We'll lay down the gauntlet there. But in the meantime, we'll talk to Hunter Engrav as a winner for the 9th time here this season. And a great night for you and a horrendous night for the rest of the drivers in the chase. Things are looking up 28 here tonight. Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
I mean, did you lead every lap here tonight? I'm pretty sure you did, and that's never happened before on an oval, if that is the case.
Yeah. I think I led every lap. I think. Yeah. No, it was really cool for sure. But I just gotta first say I feel really bad for John. That he had that strategy. I think he was gonna get interested in, but he had a little unfortunate luck, which I feel bad. I don't want him to lose it like that. I want him to race for it and everything. So first, I just want to say I really feel bad for him. And yeah, the rest of the race after Brody got second, it was just kind of doing team stuff, just try to work together a little bit. I would count down the starts to try to help him on the starts so we can both still be first and second. So yeah, it was just teamwork and yeah, just try to save the rear tires the best you can.
Matt, what you got?
Well, that comment right there was pretty difficult. I, for one, was quite surprised to see John come in that early. I guess maybe we don't realize how bad the tire wear is here to try and make it even 45 or 50 laps to make it, a one stop there at the end, I should say. I mean, what did it feel like later on in the runs?
I'd say it wasn't bad for me. I tried to take care of it. One run I didn't do as good. It was starting to get a little loose, but I do think Schlosser and John hit a little early. They were gonna have to go extreme defense on the later end of the race. I wasn't gonna pit that early. I was gonna pit around 105, 110. Me and Brody kind of agreed on. So I was kind of really surprised that they pitted and I was just gonna stay out till around them because I like to always go on the offense, not the defense side. So yeah, no. But car was definitely a very much a handful if you didn't try to save the rear tire very well.
Well, it's win number 9. Well, we don't have the official points yet, but I mean, we don't really need them because Schlosser finished a lap down, John K. wrecked, Jan Van Leer wrecked, Andy Poliski wrecked out. I mean, you are well in control of this points championship headed into Kentucky next week. I mean, are you gonna change anything up?
Might just do a little more practice than usual. I want to make sure that it's sealed, but you never know what can happen in these races. You could be doing good and something goes wrong. So we're just gonna take it one at a time. And yeah, I've been close multiple times and stuff's gone wrong with 2 races or 1 race to go. So yeah, I ain't gonna say it's done yet till I see the checker flag and I won it.
Well, you win again. Congrats. Shout-outs for you here tonight.
My mom and my dad, probably watching these races. You guys probably doing a phenomenal job broadcasting. And my teammates, Brody, probably for helping this week. He helped a lot. And Corey finished, I think, 13th, so good job for him. And yeah, that's kind of all I gotta say. Oh, admin's probably doing a good job for the league. It's always very fun. So yeah.
Alrighty, partner. Great job here tonight. Congrats on win number 9. We'll see if we can get you the 10 banger for the season and the championship as well next week at Kentucky.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Well, we promised chaos and carnage in the intro to this race. I think suffice to say we got it. Happy for Hunter. He's obviously done a tremendous job here tonight and throughout this season. But, boy, that was a burst balloon, I would say. One by one, the championship contenders all falling due to some circumstances outside of their control. Jan getting turned. John getting whatever happened to him. Save those comments for later. And then Andy also getting netcode turned as well. I mean, that was tough to watch one by one.
Yeah, I mean, you hate to see that. I mean, there's really not a whole lot else you could say, honestly. It was tough. There were a couple of pretty bad ones there too. So I mean, it worked out for Hunter. I can tell you that. He's probably feeling pretty good going into next week now. I think had John had that strategy play out for him, maybe not so much. I think John would have had a pretty good shot going into Kentucky next week, but that seems to all be gone. However, you heard the comments from Hunter. I mean, you never know what's going to happen, and we saw just that tonight. We thought John was going to have a great chance, and all of a sudden it was not to be. So, I mean, anything can happen, like he said, so don't count them before they hatch. And we're going to go into Kentucky and crown a champion next week, so we hope that you'll be there. Thanks to everybody that was here tonight in the chat as well. Zach Lockett was here. Wasn't too thrilled about his run, but I'm sure he's going to put in the work for next week, the season finale at Kentucky. Bailey Marie cheering on Josh Matacek, as always. Always is Pamela Engrav cheering on Hunter as well. Jeremy McKinnon wanting to make a new pond here at Dover, Delaware. Lindsey G in the chat here as well. Flinky Roberts, Hunter Leach, Lisa Kelly, James Coleman, Colin Hinkle, and Rob Williams, Jacob Craven. They were all here earlier on. Thank you guys for... Oh, and Ty Coleman as well. Before we were actually live. So thank you guys for tuning in and chatting with us here tonight. It's always appreciated. And don't want to miss next week. Tell your friends, tell your family. The championship is on the line, and we will be here next Tuesday night from Kentucky for the Venom Truck Series. But we also got a couple more nights of racing as well this week.
You know, they have a pretty big fishing pond in Dover, Delaware. I believe it's called the Atlantic Ocean. So we'll keep Dover International Speedway intact if that's okay with you, Jeremy. Yeah, we've got action tomorrow night. It's the ASRL Eminent Signs and Graphics Sports Card Championship live and in your house from Phillip Island Circuit. That'll be 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Thursday night, the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series playoffs kick off round number 3 from Las Vegas Motor Speedway at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. That'll bring us around to Monday night, which we don't have anything next Monday night. Actually, it'll be the championship for the Ghost Squadron from the Super Series on the Monday following that at Road America. But that will lead us into championship night for the Venom Truck Series from Kentucky for the very first time in series history, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Keep hitting refresh here to see if we could get the official points numbers, but the results have not been uploaded yet, so we're not going to have them. Just know that Engrav, something is going to have to go horribly, horribly wrong for him to not walk away as the champion next week. But still, a lot to be determined. Lots of other positions in the first ever Venom Truck Series chase, and another race trophy as well on the line at Kentucky next week. So we'll look forward to that. And thanks to everybody who was hanging out with us here tonight. Thank you to the Venom admin team who will have their work cut out for them after it's all said and done tonight. And thank you to the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson. That's all we got for you here tonight. Until we meet again here on Turn 200 from Dover International Speedway, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long and congratulations to Hunter Engrav on a well-timed 9th victory of the season in the Detect, Treat, and Defeat Breast Cancer 145. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.